So write reusable JavaScript with functions. In JavaScript, we can divide up our code into reusable parts called functions. Here is an example of a function. So function name. So this is we can declare this function name by using this keyword function, and this function now is the function name. Then the console.log is this function's task is to log this message into the console. You can call or invoke this function by using its name followed by the parenthesis. So this is the name of this function, like this. So if you have to call this function, we can use this function call by using the function name followed by the parenthesis and ended with the semicolon. Each time the function is called, it will print out the message hello world in the development console. All of the code between the curly braces will be executed every time the function is called. So every time this type of function will be called in the program, it will console log it will log the hello world in the development console. So our task is create a function called reusable function. So how we can create function is by giving the function keyword, and the name of the function is the reusable function, and you can create this, and inside of this is the function boilerplate. So inside of here we can give the function, so which prints the string hi world into the development console. So how we can do is similar to the example. So we can console.log hi world. So and we will terminate it by that, and we should also call the function. So we just created the function, the reusable function, but we didn't call this function. So reusable function should be a function, so this is the function. So if reusable function is called, it should appear output the string hi world to the console. You should call the reusable function once it is, so it is defined in here. Now we should call, so how we can call is reuse. So by using the same name and followed by this parenthesis, so we are calling this function and the output is in here. So this is how we write the reusable JavaScript functions, and we call the functions. So passing values to functions with arguments. So parameters are variables that acts as a placeholder. So these parameters are the variables which acts as a placeholder for the values that are to be input to the function. So these functions this function has two variables which are known as the parameters. This is parameter 1 and parameter 2. These acts as a placeholder for the values that are to be input in the function. So they are inputted in this function. This log is also the function, built-in function of the JavaScript when it is called. So to the function, when it is called, when a function is defined, it is typically defined along with one or more parameter. Okay, function is defined with one or two or three or more parameters. The actual values that are input or passed into a function when it is called are known as arguments. So if we define along with the function that are the parameter, and if we pass the actual values, okay, when we are calling this function, we pass on the actual value that are input or passed to this function. Okay, using like this test function and this. So these two things are the arguments. So we are passing these values into the parameters of the function. So here is the function with two parameter, param1 and param2. So there we are declaring the parameters in here, and we are assigning to this function in, and this is the parameter. Then we call test function like this. So we have to call the function, and we have to pass the argument in here. We have passed two string arguments, hello and the world, inside the function. Param1 will equal to the hello. Okay, hello will go to the param1 and world will go to the, so first, so let me give you the demo. So let me have my pen. So so let me show you. This is the pen, this is the color. Let me make like this. So first of all, what it will, so this hello, now go, so this hello go to this param1. So let's make smaller. So this hello will go to in here. So this hello will go to in here. Similarly the world will go to in here, param2. And this, after the parameter has been fed to the function, now it will print. So it will print in here, okay, like this. So this is how the function and the passing of the argument in the function works. So clear the screen, let's ignore this. So put in here. So passing values to the function with the argument works like this. So these are the parameters we pass on the argument from while calling the function. So inside the function, param1 will equal to the string hello and param2 will be equal to the string world. Note that you could call test function again with a different argument, and the parameter would take on to the value of the new argument. We can pass other after this function another, we can declare another, we can call another function with the another arguments, other arguments also. So create a function called the function with argument that accepts two for argument, outputs their sum to the development console. So call the function with the call the function with two numbers as the argument. So how we can do that is, so should be a function, so we have to make this, so we have to make this function and the name of the function with the parenthesis, and this is the simple boilerplate of the function. Now inside of this we have two parameters similar to this param1 and the param2. So these are the two parameter. It will, so function with the argument 1 2 should output in here. Function with the output of this, you should call the function with argument with two number after you define it. So create a function called function with argument that accepts two argument and output their sum. So how we can output their sum is return param1 plus param2. It will return this the result of this into the function. So if you call the function with these things, okay, so we are calling the function using these two. So if you run the test, running test, so function with argument 1 and 2 are not returning that. So if you run the test, it is not returning. So you should call the function with two number after you define that as a two argument, output their sum. Okay, so not, we have to not return that, so we have to accept two argument and output their sum into the same function in the development console. So how we can do that is, we can use the sum, another variable, okay, var sum. So sum should be with the addition of the two parameters which we passed in here, and it will now console.log console.log is some variable. If you run the test now, it is giving the 3 in here. If you pass this function, it will be 16 in here. So this will be far more than we can make this. Also we can pass these things in here also. So this is the same, we can ignore this one also. So your code was saved to the browser local storage, sorry. So this is the thing. Either you can do this is also this will be the same like this. It is accepting two arguments and a console logging in the development console the sum of these two parameters. Either you can do this or you can do like this also. Okay, I think this will be better. So if you run the test, so now the global scope and the functions in JavaScript, scope refers to the visibility of the variables. So variables which are defined outside of the functional block have the global scope. This means they can be seen or used everywhere in your JavaScript code. Variables which are declared without the var keyword are automatically created in the global scope. This can create unintended consequences elsewhere in your code or when running a function again. You should always declare your variables using the var keyword. Using var, declare a global variable named myGlobal outside of any function. Initialize it to the value of 10. So declare the global variable like this. So var myGlobal with a value of 10. So inside of fun1, assign 5 to the OOP's global without using the var keyword. So if we assign in here with 5, so my global is 10 and oops is this object oriented global, the inside of the functions global variable is now 5. So variable which are declared without the var keyword automatically created in the global scope. Okay, so these after, so if you create in here using the var, it will not be in here because this is now not the global, it is the functional only. So this will be only this variable's scope is only inside of this function. So if you do not give the var, it will now have the global scope. So it's inside a function. Do not create using the var keyword if you want it to be globally used inside of the program. So in the function 2, what is it is the if type of global is undefined, then the my global should be the my global, and type of OOP is undefined, then the global console log the output. So if you run the test, so local scope and the function, a variable which are declared within a function as well as the function parameter have local scope. That means they are only visible within the function. So variables which are declared within a function, so this type of function using the var keyword as well as the functional parameters have the local scope. That means they are only visible within this my test function only. So this is a variable local, and the string, this is only seen on this. If you if you run this if you call this function, it will give the variable, but it will not log this function outside of this. outside of this function. The myTest function call will display the string foo, so this will display the foo in the console. The console log line will throw an error as log is not defined outside of the function. So this is not defined outside of the function. We are declaring with using the var keyword. If you didn't use here the var keyword, it would have the global scope and can be used outside of the function. So the editor has two console.logs to help you see what is happening. Check the console as code to see how it changes. Declare the local variable my var inside of the my local scope and run the space. So only change the code below. So my var. So check the console. So help you code to how it changes. Declare the local variable. So how we can do the local variable using the var keyword inside of this. This is the local variable inside of my local scope and run the test. My var is not defined, but it will not cause the test to fail. So my var is not defined in here, so we can do like this. Also not defining. This console will still display reference myvar, but this will not cause test here. The code should not contain the global myvar variable. You should add the local myvar. So if we delete this is now my var is not defined. Okay, so this my var is not defined outside of the function. So if you run the test, so global versus local scope in a function, it is possible to have both local and global variable with the same name. When you do this, the local variable takes precedence over the global variable. In this example, var some variable which is the head, this is the global variable, and inside of the function we have the functional local variable somewhere and send head return somewhere. It will the function my function will return the head because the local version of the variable is present in there, because local variables takes precedence over the global variables. Add the local variable to my outfit. So local variable, add a local variable to my outfit function to override the value of the outer wear with the string sweater. So inside of here is the global variable with the t-shirt in the outer wear variable. So you should update it by the sweater. So now if you call this function, the return outerwear will now return the sweater, not the t-shirt. So you should not change the value of the global. My outfit should return the string sweater. You should not change the return statement also, this return statement also. If you run the test, so return a value from a function with a return. So you can pass values into function with arguments. You can use a return statement to send value back to a function. So example, this is the +3 in which a number variable parameter is in here. So it would return the number, any number passed in there +3. So variable answer, now it will return this. Okay, the return value is now accepted inside, assigned into this variable, answer variable. This 5 plus 3 8. The answer will have now the value 8 plus 3 takes an argument for number. Okay, number, and return the value equal to num plus 3. Create a function times 5 that accepts only one. So create a function times 5. We are creating now the function which is times 5. So this is the function, so that accept one argument. So one argument in here, which is the number. Okay, we can do like this. This is the number, multiplies it by 5 and return the new value. So any number passing there, we should return the number, which is number multiplied by 5. So now if we pass argument to this function like 5, so it will return the 5525, but we should store that variable. So inside of variable like multiple, so now it is assigned to the multiple variable. If you times 5 should return should be a function, times 5 returns the 25, times 5 to returns 10, and returns 0. If you run the test, understanding undefined value returned from the function. A function can include the return statement, but it does not have to. Okay, in the case that the function doesn't have a return statement, when you call it, the function processes the inner code, but the return value is undefined. For example, sum is 0, function adds some number, and the number will be added to the sum. Add sum, so 3. So the add sum in the function without a return statement, the function will change. Add sum is a function, so this function doesn't have the return statement. The function will change the global sum variable. It will change this global variable, but the return value of the function is undefined. So create a function add 5 without any argument. So add 5, so we should create the same like this function. So the add 5 without any argument, this function adds 5 to the sum variable, but adds 5 to the sum variable, but its return value is undefined. So now the return value will be undefined. So if you run the test, add 5 should be a function. Once both functions have run, the sum should be equal to 8. Return value from add 5 should be undefined. Inside of add function, we should add 5 to the sum variable, which is good same as this. So if you run the test, assignment with the return value. If you are recall from our discussion of storing value with the assignment of operator, everything to the right of the equal sign is resolved before. So everything in the right side of the equal sign is resolved before the value is assigned to this. This means we can take the return value to a function and assign it to a variable. Assume we have the predefined a function sum which adds two numbers together. So this is a thing, and our sum will be stored in this variable. We'll call sum function which returns the value 17 and assign it to the our sum variable. So call the process argument function with the argument of 7. So we are calling this function. So you should call this function with the argument of 7. Okay, and assign its return value to the variable which is the processed. So inside of, so I think variable and processed is also good. So process 2 will have the value 2. So first of all, okay, value variable is already declared in here with 0, declared and assigned, and function process argument takes and the argument number, and which does what it does is it returns something. So what does it returns is it returns number, anything passed in here, number plus 3 divided by 5 is 7, 70 plus 3 7, 10, 10 divided by 5 is 2, so it will return 2 and is stored in this processed variable, which is the global variable in here. So if you run the test, so stand in line. In computer science, a queue is an abstract data structure where items are kept in a order. So queue is a data structure where the items are kept in order, either the ascending order or the descending order. New item can be added at the back of the queue. So every new item added to the queue will be added at the back of the queue, just how the push works on there, and the old items are taken off from the queue in the from the front of the queue. So just as the on shift or the shift. So write a function next in line which takes an array ARR and a number. So write a function next in line. So there is the function next in line which takes an array. Okay, this is the array as an argument and the number also as argument. Add the number to the end of the array. So add the number add the number at the end of array, then remove the first element of the array. The next inline function should then return the element that was removed. Only change the code. So next inline should return. So next inline with this function and the file. So after next inline text array should be, so add a number, display code is this before string file the text error. So before it is this, next in line is the text array 6 and the after 1 2 3 4 5. So add the number to the end of the array, then add the number to the end of the array. If we give this the 6, now the next inline function should, so this next inline function returns the item. So this is adding to the queue, so it is, so this is the before and this is the after. Next inline return a number. Text array, so I think, so this was this before this, and after that, so add a number to the end, write a function which takes an array and a number item as an argument. Add a number to the end of the array. So we are adding the number to the end of the array. Then remove the first element of the array. So now remove the first element of the array. The next inline function should return the element that was removed. Okay, this is returning the remove. So how it is working is, this is the function. This function takes an array and the item. So in the text array is here, stringifying the text array. Okay, stringifying this text array like this, and the console logging now what is doing is in the test array is passing, and the 6 is in here, and it is returning the item only. Test array it is returning the last element. If we pass 7 in here like this, console log after just stringify the test array. So if we run the test, return the 1, return the 2, and should return the 5. Now should return the element that was removed. The next in line should remove, we can do that is, I think so. Should return 2. So write a function next in line which takes an array and a number. So let's make this the thing that was. So which takes an array, write a function next in line which takes an array and a number as the argument, which is good. Add the number to the end of the array and then remove the first element of the array. Should then return the element that was removed. So if you add in here 10 and remove this, so this is returning the item, not returning this 10. So running text, this should return 2, should return. So if you passed in the 2, then it should return 2. So I think we have to return the array. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. No, it is not only. So this is the setup. Only change the code below this line and change. Okay, so this is the okay, add the number to the end of the array. So how we can do that is end of the array. So test array dot push what, push 6. So before it was this, and after that it is 6. And what we have to do is only change code above this. So first what we are doing is pushing this into the last of the item. So now what we have to do is then remove the first element of the array. So removing first element of the array in JS. So shift method, okay, shift method removes the first element of the array and returns the elements it removed. So now again test array dot shift, so it will shift the first. So now again it is not giving test array, running the test. Add a number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array. Okay, so adding this and removing that, we are doing this, but the next line should return the element that was removed. So we should remove, we should keep this, remove the item, should return the 2. One would return 1. So this is the array, I think. This is the array. Array is this. Again, it is not returning the thing. We returning the array. Not the item in here. I think array is here. Array is good. What is the thing? The incompleteness. What is the function which takes an array? I didn't get the question right. Which takes an array and a number item as argument, which is here. Okay, which is in here. Add the number to the end of the array. So I think from when you change the code below and when you change the height, so return if you do that. After next in line text error 10, text error 4 should be. So let's get help, get a hint. The push method adds the item to the end of the array. The shift method removes the first element of the array. It also returns the element removed. The function next in line uses the array and the item. Those are what the test will use to pass the array element. They will test with it. Allows the function to be reusable. Do not hardcode any of the test. Confused over standing lines, I came up with another solution. So here are the solution 1. Your code in here array dot push. Okay, we are pushing this item. Okay, we are pushing this item in here. So okay, we are passing the item from these things. Okay, item in here and var remove is okay. So array dot shift, what you will do is the if you run the test, it is not again going, so everything is good, but it is not returning. So array dot shift will remove the first element and return that. So if we keep this inside of the removed variable, So now all this removed in here. So I think this is good. I think we will do. So this is the good solution. So function in line. So we are pushing that item to that array, and we are removing the first element, and the removed element now is kept inside this removed variable, and this is returning the removed. So code explanation: push item at the end of the array. Okay, call the shift method on array to get the first item and store it in a removed. So return removed. So example, everything in here, you don't actually need the variable removed. The element removed can be returned directly using the return array shift, array dot shift also. So if you have only array shift also, it will do. So everything is good. So if you can do return in here only also. So this is the stand in line. So how the queue works. So final summary of this. So what we are doing is, this is the array. This is the array. So this is the array. So we are passing this test array and the another item 6. So this item is now pushed. So we are hard codely passing the element to the array, but we need to pass this item which is passed as the argument to the array. So we are passing the 6 to the array, and we are removing the first element from the removed, and as the requirement says, the next line function should return the element that was removed. So we have to uh, show the removed function, removed item, so like this. So this is the only thing we have changed. So everything good. Now moving on to the next. So you can refer to this also for the good understanding. You can refer to this also. So understanding the Boolean values. Another data types in is the Boolean. Boolean may also only one of the two values is true or the false. They are basically little on-off switch where true is on and the false is off. These two states are mutually exclusive. Boolean's value are never written within the codes. The string true and false are not the booleans and have no special meaning in the JavaScript. So these are just referred as string. Modify the welcome to booleans function so that it returns true instead of false when the run button is clicked. Function welcome to boolean so that it runs true. So if this function, so welcome to boolean function should return the boolean true or false. Welcome dot boolean should return the true. So if it, so this return should be true, all in small letter, which is good. So now using conditional logic with if statement. If statement are used to making decision in code. The keyword if tells JavaScript to execute the code in curly braces under certain conditions defined in the parentheses. So if statement are used to make decision in code. The keyword if tells the JavaScript to execute this code if under the if tells JavaScript to execute the code, this code inside of the curly braces under the certain conditions. So condition is defined inside this parenthesis. These conditions are known as Boolean conditions. These are always the true or false Boolean conditions. They may be only true or false. When the condition evaluates to true, the program executes the statement. So if it is true, it executes this statement inside of the curly braces. When the Boolean condition evaluates to false, the statement inside the curly braces will not be executed. Okay, so this is not executed, but this will be executed. So pseudo code, so this is the markdown code like this. So if condition is true, then the statement is executed, elsewise goes to the other statement. So test, so in this example test true. So if we are passing the true in this my condition, so this true is going to this my condition, and now the my condition becomes true, returning it was true, so it was true. So similarly, this is another function call, which is by the argument false. So this false goes in there false, so here false, so this will not be executed, but this will be executed. It was false. When test is called with the value of true, the if statement evaluates my condition to see if it is true or not. Since it is true, the function return it was true. When we call test with a value of false, my condition is not true, and the statement in the curly braces is not executed, and the function return it was false. Create an if statement inside the function to return yes, that was true. So true, that was true is true, and return no, that was false otherwise. So create a if statement. So if condition, okay, if is the now the condition is the was that true, is the condition. If that is true, then it will return, so it will return what, it will return yes, that was true, otherwise it will return no, that was false. So similar to this, if was then true, return yes, that was true, otherwise you return the true. True or false should be a function, that is true should return the string. So if it is true, then only it will return yes, that was true. If true or false function is it. So if we want to run that, so we are calling this function, so function by the true. Now what is it returning? So it is not giving anything in here. Should return the string yes, that was true. No, that was false. If you run the test, so comparison with equality operator. There are many comparison operator in JavaScript. All of those operator returns the Boolean true or false values, either that is uh, equal or not equal. The most basic operator is the equality operator, which is equal. So the equality operator compares two values and returns true if they are equivalent or false if they are not. Note that equality is different from the assignment operator, which assigns the values on the right of the operator to a variable, okay, which assign the value on the right of the operator to a variable on the left. So this is the function equality test. So my value is equals to equal, then return equal, otherwise not equal. If my value, if you pass this function with 10 argument, the equality operator returns true, so that the code in the curly braces will return, will be executed and return the function, return the equal string. Otherwise, the function will return not equal. In order for JavaScript to compare two different data types, for example, numbers and the string, it must convert one type to another. This is known as type quotient. Once it does, however, it compare terms as follows: 1 is equals to 1, 1 is equals to 2, 1 is equals to, this is the string, this is the string. In order, this expression would evaluate to, this is true, this is false, this is true, this is also true. So it must convert one type to another type. So in order for JavaScript to compare two different data types, for example numbers and a string, it must convert one type to another. So add the equality operator to indicate line so that the function will return the string equal when the value is equivalent to 12. So if the, so how we can do that is, so if the test, so it is past test equal should return the string not equal, so it is not equal, so equal to 12. So returns the equal, should returns the string equal, also it will return the equal. So these do not affect. You should use the equal operator. So I think this is good to return not equal in here, because this is not equal to this, and it will skip these things and run this only from the test equal function. So comparison with strict equality operator. The strict equality operator, equal is a counterpart of the equality operator. However, unlike the equality operator which attempts to convert both values being compared to the common type, the strict equality operator does not perform the type conversion. So it will not give the type, the feature of the type conversion. So if the values being compared have the different type, they are considered unequal, and the strict equality operator will return false. So this is the equal, which gives the true boolean, but this is not equal because this is the, in the second example 3 is a number, this 3 is the number, but this is the string type. Use the strict equality operator in the if statement so that function will return the string equal when the value is strictly equal to 7. So if it is exactly the 7 this number, then only it will execute this line of code inside of this curly braces, which is the return code. Otherwise it will return, it will run this line of code which is return not equal. So practicing comparison between the values. In the last two challenges we learned about the equality operator, which is equal, and the strictly equality operator, which is equal. Let's do a quick review and practice using these operators some more. In the values being compared are not of the same type, the equality operator will perform the type conversion and then evaluates the value. However, the strictly equality operator will compare the both of the data type value as it is without the converting one type to the another. Okay, so examples 3 equals to return the true because JavaScript is performing the type conversion from the string to number. Okay, and this will return false because the type of the types are different, and the type conversion from string to number is not performed. Note in JavaScript you can determine the type of variable or the value using with the help of type of operator as follows. So if you give type of 3 and the type of this 3, type of 3 returns the number, type of this will return string. The compare equality function is a editor compares two values using the equality operator. Modify the function so that it returns the string equal only when the values are strictly equal. So these two this function is a editor. Okay, this function is full editor. If we assume that compares the two values, so it will compare the two values which are passed in here using the parameters and b, and using this compares if this is using the, so these are comparing using these equality variables. Either this is strictly, either the equality operator or the strictly equality operator. Modify the function so that it returns the string equal. Okay, if so this will return now the equal, but they are not strictly equal. Okay, so this should now return not equal. So how we can do it? Add the another third equal which do not convert this into the number, so it does not perform any of the type conversion, and it will now return this statement. So in here change this line only. Okay, we should change the equality operator to strictly equality operator. Compare now equal should return not equal. 2020 should also return not equal if that is 10 and so if that is 10 and 10, then only it will execute this line of code inside of this curly braces. So you should use of this operator. So comparison with the inequality operator. The inequality operator, which is exclamation equal to, is the opposite of the equality operator, which was using the type conversion. It means not equal and returns false, where equality operator returns true and the vice versa. So in this, if this is true, so if that is not equal, then it will return true. But in the equality operator, if that was true, it would return true. If that was equal, that it will return the true. But in this, if that is not equal, it will return true. So this is the only difference. Like the equality operator, the inequality operator will convert the data types of the values while comparison. So one equal does not equal to 2, it is true. So same, one not equal to true, it is false, because this is performing the type conversion. These are equal, so it is giving the true, it is give it, and these are equal and it is giving the false. So this is also false because these are equal. So one and true is 1, so this is a true statement, but it is giving the false. So 0 is also known as false, which in here is not equal to, so it is false. So add the inequality operator not equal to in the if statement, so that the function will return the string not equal when the value is not equivalent to 99. So if value is not equal to 99, it will give not equal, otherwise it will give equal. Add the inequality operator in the if statement so that the function will return string not equal when value is not equivalent. Okay, equivalent to 99. So if it is not equal to 99, then it will give not equal. Other, in the other condition, it will give the equal. Test 99 not equal, this function is like this. So if you run the, so if you pass the test not equal, should return the equal. So if this is equal, if this is not equal to 99, then it will give the, if this is equal, then it will not this, and it will not execute this. This will execute this, should return the string equal. should return not equal, not equal, not equal. Should use this operator if you run the test. So comparison with the strict inequality operator. The strict inequality operator, exclamation equal equal, is the logical opposite of the strict equality operator. It means strictly not equal and returns the false, where strict equality would returns true, and the vice versa. The strict inequality operator will not convert the data type. It is the same as the, so it is not same, it is opposite to the strictly not uh, inequality operator. In order this expression would, so this is not equal to this is true, so it is giving this false. So 3 is this equal to, but there is not equal to, so false. This is not equal to, so this is giving true. This is not equal to, this is giving true. And the strict inequality operator to the if statement, so that the function will return the string not equal when value is not strictly equal to 17. So if it is strictly not equal to 17, so if not equal to 17, not strictly 17, then it is not equal to, if this that is, so this is equal, this is not equal, this is not equal, this is not equal, you should use that. So now comparison with the greater than operator. Okay, the greater than operator compares the values of the two number. If the number to the left, so to the left is greater than the number to the right, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. If this is greater, then it will return true, so it will return false, false, so false, and this is also false, like the, so this will return true because it is greater, this is false, this is false, this is true, this is true. Like the equality operator, the greater than operator will convert the data types. Okay, so if the value, so in order this add the greater than operator to the indicated line, so that return statement makes sense. So makes sense, if the value is greater than 100, then only it is over 100. If the value is over 10, then only it is over this, otherwise this will be the 10 or under. So 0, 10 or under, so this is not greater than 10, so this is not the, it skip this, this is not, it skip this, so it will return this. So return everything in your conditions, you should use this operator. So if you run the test, I think these are the easiest. Comparison with the greater than or equal to operator. The greater than or equal to operator compares the value of the two numbers. If the number to the left is greater than or equal to the number of the right, it returns true, otherwise it will return false. Like the equality operator, greater than or equality operator will convert the types, data types, while comparing. In order this expression would, so 6 is either greater or equal, so this is equal, so this is true. 7 is greater or equal, this is greater than true, so it is less, false, this is also less, false. It is converting this into string to numbers. And the greater than or equal, add the greater than or equal to operator to the indicated line, so then the return statement makes sense. So 20 or over, so greater than or equal to 20. So similarly greater than or equal to 10. So other than that, so if we pass the here the 10 in this function, it is not greater or equal, this this is passed. Similarly this is greatest greater, so 10 or over is that, so this will be executed 10 or over. So 10 or over will be executed, because it is not greater than the 10 but it is equal to 10. Similarly, comparison with the less than operator. The less than operator compares the value of the two numbers if the number to the left is less than the number to the right. So if this is less than this, it returns true. So this is less, true. This is equals to, this is false, because we need less, only less. So this is greater, again this is equal to, not it will give false. This is greater, this is false. This is greater, this is false. Otherwise it returns false. Like the equality operator, the less than operator convert the data while comparing. Add the less than operator to indicate lines so that the return makes sense. So less value is less than 25, so then it will give, so 10, it is under this value 25, this is 55. So other than that, so if it is less than 25, then it will return under 25. If it is less than 55, so if it is less than 25, it return here and go to the it will terminate this. Otherwise if it doesn't find, then it will go to this function. If it is under 55, again if this is not satisfied, then it will be the 55 and over only. So comparison with the less than or equal to operator. The less than or equal to operator, less than or equal to, compares the values of the two numbers. If the number to the left, so number to the left is less than or equal to, so this is already less than, to the number to the right, okay, it returns the true. So it is returning the true. If the number on the left is greater than the number on the right, it returns false. So like this is greater, so it returns the false. Like the equality operator, the less than or equal to operator converts the data types. So add the less than or equal to operator to the indicated line so that the return statement makes sense. So smaller than or equal to 12. So smaller than or equal to 12. So smaller than or equal to 24. So this is 10. 10 is smaller than or equal to 12. It will execute this line of code. So now comparison using the logical AND operator. So sometimes you need to test more than one thing at the same time. The logical AND operator, which is and ampersand ampersand, returns true if only the operands to the left and right of it are true. So the same effect could be achieved by nested if else statement inside another. If number is less than 5, and again there is another if statement where the if number is okay, if the number is greater than 5, and again inside of this if the number is less than 10, so number is between 5 to 10, okay, returns the yes. Or the number is greater than 5 and less than 10, otherwise it will give the number is out of this function. So we will return yes if the number is greater than 5 and less than 10. The same logic can be written as if number is less greater than 5 and if the both things should be true, the number is greater less than 10, it will return yes, otherwise no. Replace the two if function with one statement using the and operator, which will return the yes if value is less than or equal to 50. So this is 10, it will return yes in the number. So we do not need the 2 in here. So if the value is less than, if the value is less than or equal to 50 and the value is greater, so sorry, value is greater than or equal to 25, so value should be uh, greater than, okay, greater than this 50, okay, 50, just 50. So it is the end. So if the value is greater than or equal to 25 and the value is if the value is greater than or equal to 50, return yes, otherwise it will return no. If we pass in here the 10, so it will return no, because it is not the greater than 25 or equal to 25 or not less than 50, or so it does not fall in the range of this. So both statements should be true in here. So these are the condition. So the logical AND operator, so this is the logical AND operator, returns true if and only if the operands to the left and right. So in the left and right, both of the things gives the true. So comparison with the logical OR operator. The logical OR operator returns true if either of the operation is true. Okay, if one of the operands is true, then it will give the true and will execute. The logical OR operator is composed of the two pipe symbols like this. This can typically be found between your backspace and the enter keys. Okay, this is between the backspace and the enter keys. So the pattern below should look familiar from the prior weapons line. So if number is less than, so number is greater than 10, return no. If the number is less than 5, then it will return no. Return yes. We return yes if only number is between 5 and 10. 5 and 10 is the same logic can be written as, so we return yes, greater than 10. Okay, and if it is less than 5 and between these things, we will return yes. So if number is less, a number is greater than 10 and number is or number is less than 5, greater than 10 or number is less than 5, return no, otherwise less. Combine the two statement into one statement which returns the string outside if value is not between 10 and 20 inclusive, otherwise return the string inside. So how we can do that is, so combine the two if statement. So we only need one if statement. So let's delete this. Okay. Oh, sorry. So this is the first. So I think I deleted one outside. So if value, if this return the string outside if the value is not between 10 and 20. So not between 10 and 20, so I can do it less than 10. Okay, less than 10 or value is greater than 20. So these are inclusive. So if you pass in the 15 in here, so 15 lies in between this. Okay, This is value less than 10 and value greater than 20. So it is inside of this statement. So 15 gives the inside, so 9 or 0 gives the outside. Now introducing the else statement. When a condition for a if statement is true, the block of code following it is